Ranajay. Today I'll talk about the effects of drugs or alcohol abuse. Now here obviously you might have heard people say that alcohol or drugs are bad. Obviously they are. But what really happens if you overdose those drugs or alcohol? Obviously people call it bad, right? Which it is. But what are the effects of if you actually use too much of the stuff, drugs or alcohol? If you drink too much alcohol or use too much drugs, then what can happen? Now abuse just means used in an incorrect way, or in a way, for example, overdose or using it the wrong way. That's called abuse. And now here the immediate and adverse effects of drugs and alcohol abuse are manifested in the form of reckless behavior, vandalism, and violence. Here is the main point, or the immediate adverse, or the effect that immediately happens after you abuse the consumption of drugs or alcohol. It will be reckless behavior, vandalism, and violence, which means you will become mad. Now here, basically you will become mad. Your behavior will start to become a bit chaotic, a bit violent, as you will not have control of yourself. You might even break things, you might even take your rage out of anything, for example even breaking things. So that is basically the main thing that can happen. But not just violent, but it's not just all about your behavior. These are others too. Now excessive dose of drugs here, see here we're talking about drugs. So excessive dose of drugs may lead to a coma and death due to respiratory failure, heart failure, or cerebral hemorrhage. Now here, if you consume too much drugs, then the aftermath will lead you to a coma, obviously you will get a coma. Like you will be really stuck in your head for a very long time. You'll still be alive, but at the same time you're not going to move for a while. A coma. And it can also lead to death, which is expected due to respiratory failures, due to your respiratory system failing, and also heart failure too, even your heart, or cerebral hemorrhage, or blood in your brain actually leaks out and causes swelling and headaches and a lot of things. Now combination of drugs or intake along with alcohol generally results in overdose and even deaths. So combination of abusing drugs and also alcohol together obviously leads to death. You should not be surprised. It is expected. Now if drugs are taken intravenously, intravenously just basically means direct injection into the vein using a needle and syringe, or taking drugs using injections instead of directly taking them, directly consuming them. Instead, if you use the injection or syringe for the dose, then they are much more likely to acquire serious infections like AIDS and hepatitis B. So if they take it with the help of injections, then they might get diseases like AIDS and hepatitis, and even hepatitis B. So if you directly consume it, then obviously it will lead to respiratory failure, heart failure, or even cerebral hemorrhage. And if you induce the drug with an injection, then it can lead to AIDS or hepatitis B. Yes, that is basically the after effects. So here, the chronic use of drugs and alcohol damages neural systems and liver. Yes, so the abuse of drugs and alcohol can also damage your nervous system, obviously. So most parts of your body might even malfunction, and it obviously damages your liver. Obviously, liver is the main end body part which is mostly targeted by the abuse of alcohol, obviously. Now, the use of drugs and alcohol during pregnancy is also known to adversely affect the fetus. So, if someone is pregnant and if they're actually abusing the consumption of drugs and alcohol, which you shouldn't, then it can also affect the fetus. Yes, it's also affecting the baby. So, obviously, if a person on overdoses of drugs and alcohol, then it can obviously affect the fetus because they are the ones taking nutrition from their mother, obviously. And so if they take drugs and alcohol, then it will not only affect that person but also the fetus too. Now, sports persons misuse narcotic analgesics, anabolic steroids, diuretics, and certain hormones in sport increase muscle strength and bulk to promote aggressiveness, and as a result increase electric performance. So some sports persons use steroids. Steroids are one kind of drug which is used by athletes in order to increase their muscle strength. Yes, if you take steroids, then your muscle will gain rapidly, and it's used by athletes. Typically, it's not really allowed in many sports events because it is considered cheating. But still, it's used anyway in any non-official places. But here, they obviously use steroids in order to improve their muscle strength, so they can compete in some competitions easily. Now, obviously, competitions don't allow steroids, which is obvious because it is a drug. First of all, it is a drug which is obviously not allowed, and second of all, it can just increase the muscle strength of a person rapidly, and it's not really fair. Alright, so the side effects of the use of anabolic steroids in females include masculinization, features like mood swings, depression, abnormal menstrual cycles, excessive hair growth on the face and body, enlargement of clitoris, and deepening of voice. So here the side effects of using steroids, it's basically mood swings, or sometimes your mood changes every time. Yes, rapidly. For example, you might be happy, but after the next few minutes you might be very mad and crashing out on everything. And it can also lead to depression and abnormal menstrual cycles, excessive hair growth on the face and body. Obviously, the increased hair growth, it might seem good, but no, it's not. And also the deepening of voice. Yes, the voice will also deep very much, which might not sound like a problem, but still affects them. Now, in males, drug abuse includes acne, which means pimples on the skin, increased mood swings, also mood swings, depression, reduction of size of the testicles, decreased sperm production, kidney and liver damage. Obviously, it damages your kidney and liver, which is expected because liver is the main target for drugs too. Yes, it's the main target, and kidneys, it's also expected with alcohol. And the breast enlargement, premature baldness, it will even make you bald, enlargement of the prostate gland. These effects may be permanent with prolonged use. Now, if you keep abusing drugs, then those side effects might be permanent, or it will stay with you possibly forever. So here, now how do you prevent all of this? Here, In order to prevent drug abuse or alcoholism, it is best to identify the situations that may pose an adolescent towards use of drugs or alcohol and to take remedial measures as well in time. Now here are some points in order to prevent all of these effects. Now number one is obviously avoid undue peer pressure. So every child has his or her own choice and personality, which should be respected and nurtured. A child should not be pushed unduly into perform beyond his or her threshold limits, be it studies, sports, or other activities. Now here, avoid pressure. Now obviously children obviously want to explore. They explore basically everything. They want to learn everything. Learn everything. Yeah, but they also shouldn't be pressured that much or pressure beyond the limit that they can understand anything, or else it might create a lot of pressure. It can be anything, studies, sports, or other activities. So don't do pressure or don't give pressure on other children. Now for education and counseling, educating and counseling him or her to face problems and stresses and to accept the disappointments and failures as a part of life. Now here obviously you should accept failures. Failures are the steps to success. Yes, that's an actual quote. It would also be worthwhile to channelize the child's energy into healthy pursuits like sports, reading, music, yoga, and other extracurricular activities. So they should avoid any type of thing which is related to drug or alcohol all as much as possible. And also seeking help from parents and peers, obviously, which is another point. The help from parents and peers should be sought immediately so that they can guide appropriately. So they can guide the person and then actually guiding them to the right path and making them understand that this is wrong and then getting them on the right track. Now help may even be sought from close and trusted friends. You can also tell it to friends too. And besides getting proper advice to sort out their problems, this will help young to share their feelings of anxiety and guilt. And now by sharing every problem that you have and having trusted friends with you too, then that person can be confident enough to share all their problems and weaknesses. And also looking for danger signs. A lot of parents and teachers need to look for and identify the danger signs discussed above. Even friends, if they find someone using drugs or alcohol within their friend group, if someone is using those or abusing them, they should not hesitate to bring this to the notice of parents or teachers in the best interest of the person concerned. So now if your friends has got someone in the same friend group is abusing drugs or alcohol, then they should not hesitate. They should not hold back of telling teachers, parents, or other trusted people that they are abusing drugs or alcohol. They should not hide it, that's another important point, since you have to share everything to anyone which is trusted or who is trusted to you. And finally, seeking professional and medical help. Now, a lot of help is available in the form of highly qualified psychologists, psychiatrists, and addiction and rehabilitation programs to help affected individuals. So obviously therapy can also work. Psychologists can also be useful for guiding someone and to or understand, to make that person understand that they should not be doing this, and even suggest tips on how to avoid it, and also guiding them on the right track. Alright, so those are all the effects of drugs or alcohol abuse, and also the ways to prevent this. So you have to keep this in mind. Alright, so that's all for this video. Bye.